Sorry, but I completely forgot to ask. I'm such a bad friend. I spoke with sympathy on the phone. I can't believe I forgot that Andrew told me you were severely injured. I was distracted when he told me my mom was dead. Don't worry, Jesse. I'm fine. Just a few scratches and bruises here and there, Brian said. When I was on the phone with you, I was much better. My wolf is such a badass that it's helping me heal a lot faster. Where are you now? I grinned and felt the nervousness bubble in my stomach as I passed the old worn-out sign that read, "Welcome to Lancetown, home of the mythical forests." In faded white lettering, the wood was damp, green algae covering the legs. I'd just crossed the border, I said joyfully. Just hurry up and get over here, I need you. Brian whined. I heard a loud thump and Brian's grunt. I laughed, assuming it was Betty. Okay, babe, stop it. You know you're my one and only. Oh, Brian, you are still the same as ever, I said as I laughed at them. See you in 20 minutes. Bye. I finally made it back home and all the emotions were bubbling to the surface. Jake laughed as he rolled down the windows, letting the cool air blow through our hair. I sniffed the familiar green leaves and the scent of both the Avalon and Stone Pack mingled in the air. I love the wind blowing through my hair, Jake screamed, catching the attention of a few people as we drove by local restaurants and small stores. Hey, Jake, please slow down with my car or you may crash it. You know how much I love my Pegasus, I scolded as he turned sharply. I gripped onto the black leather-clad seats as he sharply turned another turn. Pegasus aren't all that, Jake shrugged. Just slow down, okay? We don't have to rush to get there, you know, I said, but that was actually a lie. Don't get me wrong, I was so excited to see my friends and family. I wanted to squeeze the living daylights out of them. I also wanted to hug my mom, to feel the comfort of her slender fingers playing with my long brown hair. I wanted to see for myself that my mother and my best friend were all right. Then there was the other thing that made me want to stall this trip back home. Harrison White. White! How would he react with my return? Did he even know I was coming back? What if he didn't love me anymore, or he wholly dismisses the fact that we're even mates? What if he has married somebody else and had his babies with her? The thought clenched my heart. No, that's not possible, my wolf said. Don't think like that. He'd never go that far. Jake sensed the worry in my voice and he looked at me. I'm pretty sure that he could see the conflict swimming in my green eyes. He sighed, slowing down until we were just cruising. Jesse, you have to face him eventually, Jake said as he clenched the steering wheel so his knuckles were white. I'm surprised the wheel didn't crush under the pressure being applied to it. I personally can't wait to see his face with bruises on it. Jake, I really appreciated that you're looking over me like a normal cousin would do, but please don't cause any trouble with him. I fiddled with the loose thread on my white sweater. We ain't here for him. We are here for my mom and Brian. I just can't stand what he did that to you. A mate is a precious gift, and he's lucky he even found his own, Jake said, envy dripping from his voice. Promise me you won't cause any trouble? I pleaded again. All right, I won't, Jesse, he huffed. You'll find your mate soon, I smiled, and she'd be lucky to have you. Jake didn't seem so sure of my reassurance, so he simply nodded and shifted in his seat. We didn't say much, and the car was silent. It was a comforting silence, though, as we were too absorbed in our own thoughts to say anything. I felt the nervousness deep in my belly as we turned into the street where the gorgeous pack house was located. Its huge structure could be seen from here with the smoke coming out of the chimney in gray swirls. It was a deep brown color with large windows and balconies. The Avalon pack had bought a new pack home, using the old yellow one as a meeting area between them and the Raven pack. They've decided to purchase a new one since, well, I don't know. Probably they felt like they were richer than before. Jake drove into the driveway, parking in front of the huge double doors. I sniffed the air, noticing that the Raven pack was here as well. The laughter and conversation coming from inside the house went silent as the engine from our car cut off. I wasn't even halfway out of the car when the double doors slammed open and familiar dark hair and rusted color hair came running my way. I shrieked when they almost tore off my baby's door and practically squished me to death. Jesse! Nelson yelled in happiness. Finally, you are back. You know how boring it's been since you've left? I had to endure Jennifer and Betty's constant PMSing. Yeah, you know how hard it was to be in the middle of Jennifer and Nell's constant banter alone? I missed it when we used to make fun of them, Perry pretended as he was about to cry. But now, I'm not so alone anymore. The two boys let go of me and Nell smacked the back of Perry's rusted hair-covered head. I laughed at them and noticed Jake standing off to the side. He looked quite awkward. Since this is the first time he came to territory, so I guess this is the normal reaction for him. Guys, this is my cousin, Jake. I gestured towards Jake standing next to me now. I pointed towards the two males in front of me. Jake, this is Perry and Nell. They did a man handshake and started to haul the luggage into the house and up the stairs. I followed behind, hugging my arms to my chest. Sniffing the air, I only found the slight trace of the familiar manly smell that I missed in the time I was gone. My arms slumped in relief and disappointment. While the boys traveled up the stairs, I stayed behind looking at the pictures of the Avalon pack that hung on the wall. My eyes found a picture of me, smiling as Harrison held me tightly from behind as he kissed my cheek. It wasn't on the wall, however. I found it face down on top of the fireplace. My heart started to clench again. "Sorry about that, Jessie," I heard a familiar feminine voice say as she took the picture from my hands. She hung it back on its hook on the wall. Her crystal blue eyes showed concern. "I didn't take them off from the wall since you were gone. We haven't completely settled in yet." Betty lied and gave me a comforting smile. "You don't have to lie to me, Betty," I said, "but thanks for trying. Plus, you look like you're a clown on crack when you lie." "Oh, you are so mean, Jessie." Betty laughed and hugged me. I returned the embrace and laughed with her. "When did you get short hair?" I said, pulling back and playing with the black hair that framed her face in a bob cut. Since Nell thought it was funny to bleach half my hair in my sleep, Betty pouted and crossed her arms over her chest. I laughed at Nell's idiocy and ruffled her hair. "It looks nice. I could never pull off short hair." Right when I was done saying that, I heard a warrior battle cry. I looked up at the second level, startled, and saw Brian climbing over the banister about to jump on top of me. Before he could crush me, I quickly moved out of the way with my werewolf ability and watched as he landed on his face, groaning. Betty rolled her eyes and helped him up. "How many times do I have to tell you to stop getting yourself hurt? You're still recovering." "Gosh, she's gotten super fast." Brian slowly got up, smoothing out his shirt. "Well done, Jessie." I couldn't respond as I gasped in shock at the bruises on his face. His bare arm was covered in gauze, blood clearly visible. My hands trembled at the sight of Brian. I've never seen him so wounded and injured. I'm sure my face paled as tears welled up in my eyes at my wounded best friend. "Brian," I whispered, coming closer and touching a bruise on his face lightly. "What happened? I don't want to kill the welcome home vibe, so you'll just have to wait for the meeting tomorrow to find out what happened." Brian shrugged it off like it was nothing. He opened his arms and crushed me into his chest. I was momentarily out of breath when I hugged him back. "I'm glad you're okay," I said, letting go of him and noticing the small smile on Betty's lips. She was happy that her mate reunited with his best friend. "Of course I'm okay. Nothing could take me down," Brian hollered. I rolled my eyes at his cockiness. "Yeah, right," Betty snorted. "I've taken you down before." "That's right, baby," Brian continued, putting his arm around her shoulders and nuzzling her neck. "You could take me down anytime." "Okay, my eyes are burning," I screamed, covering my eyes with my hands. The couple laughed and settled for just holding hands. I looked down at their linked hands, feeling envious towards their perfect relationship. My wolf howled, and I had to remind her it was my fault that we weren't exactly happy right now. I heard Perry, Jake, and Nell come down the stairs as they talked about the training Jake does on a daily basis. Perry whistled at the amount of work healers put into their training. Nell looked intimidated, but still praised the hard work and dedication that Jake does. "At least Jennifer is not around, or else you'd feel like you were watching porn," Brian groaned. "I swear, Nell and Jennifer have the worst case of public display of affection in the whole nation." I poked my tongue out in disgust as Nell turned the color of a ripe tomato. "Where is Jennifer?"